And welcome to another episode of Who Gives a Hoot, featuring Ryan, Kyle, and Luke. I'll let you figure out who's who. If you haven't listened before, then I don't know why you're listening now, but you are. So welcome.
New fans.
Hey, welcome new fans. Or fans.
You should say Kyle's the good-looking one, and then they can figure out which one they think is Kyle.
Ooh. Yeah, I don't know if that's true.
Who they think is the most attractive.
All right. Well, it's been a week plus since we've recorded anything. I was on with Liam last time prior to the Open Cup game, which didn't go our way, but let's move on from that. I
Toasted Rats sucks.
Had a fantastic goal.
It was a beautiful stadium. They brought a crowd there, which, to be fair, no one else does for the Open Cup. So credit to them on that.
22,000 people or something like that.
Yeah.
Which was good crowd.
Which, I think when we played Sporting in the quarterfinal, there was not even that. So
yeah, there was 18 to 19,000, I think, at Sporting, which was technically sold out, but
yeah.
Why couldn't we have played them this year though? Because how do they suck?
Yeah. I think our squad this year would have fared much better against Sporting than it did against St. Louis, but honestly, and I probably get some flack for this, I'm glad we're done with the Open Cup run so we can focus on the season.
Well, and I think you and Liam did a really good job last time talking about St. Louis's strengths, which unfortunately what we like to played exactly into St. Louis's strengths, especially when, and Kyle and I talked about this on the berm on Saturday a lot in the first half, but unfortunately, when you're playing a team that's much better than you and you're trying to play possession-based soccer and move the ball around like we were, and you play against a really good counterattacking team that has much better quality players, you're going to end up with a score line like we ended up with. And but I agree, Luke. I think last year, as much fun as the Open Cup run was and as magical as that was for a lower league team, it also cost us a lot in the league as the season went on. And now we have the entire rest of this league season ahead of us to really get our feet together. And we're going to talk, I'm sure, about what happened in the second half on Saturday, which is the detriment of our style of soccer. And I think that's what also played into it with St. Louis. When you want to attack, you're going to leave yourself open on the back end. And sometimes you give up 5. Happens.
Which the data dive that I'm writing is a lot about our style this year compared to last year.
Mm-hmm.
And man, are the numbers weird. It's essentially flipped, right? We were last in possession, last in passes completed, last in all of these things, and now we're first or near first.
Yeah.
We have more passes, at least before tonight's games. We had more passes completed than all the other teams except those who played 2 more games than us. Even those who played a whole game more than us. We had more passes completed.
That's crazy.
It's
I just got back one of the team's team talks with Wes and with Beto, the goalkeeper coach.
Mm-hmm.
And there was a lot of talk about the style of this year versus last. And we didn't break so much into the full tactics there, but a great series the team's been putting on. And I guess they're going to be doing monthly at Dundee Dell. So you should definitely try and get out there for those because it's a great insight, very informal. You can find out about certain members of the technical staff's former rock career, love of Subarus for certain goalkeeper coaches. Just good thing to get out there. But no, there was a definite Jay versus Dom sort of things have changed, but not as, in some ways, not as drastically in their coaching style, but in their tactics wise, definitely there. But there's plenty of coverage of the Open Cup loss. Let's jump into our win.
First home win of the season.
And we got 3 points.
Yeah.
That's an accurate statement.
We went up a player in the 16th minute.
Yeah. Okay,
let's talk about those yellow cards. Because the first one, pretty clearly a yellow. You put your hands, you drag him down, pretty clearly a yellow. When you're on a yellow card, why even try that challenge?
I think the second yellow was a little soft, but I think it was potentially he kept fouling. And so it was more, you're continuing to screw up. Like, something had to be done there, and ultimately it was probably the right call. Although the foul that it was awarded on was not, in my opinion, a yellow cardable one.
I mean, he was fairly close to the berm on the foul because of that side. And I know Luke was lucky to be on the field level seats because he scooped snow. Ooh.
Oh, I'm sorry. If you want to see a great view of my ass, go look at the team's video of it.
But at least from our angle, and Kyle and I were standing by each other at the time, it looked at least one boot with studs up. And it was pretty much from behind. So at minimum, you're going yellow. If there's certain refs that if you're not on a yellow and you go studs up from behind, even with 1 foot, you're risking a straight red. Either way, a yellow, you don't go to ground.
Yeah,
You have no chance of winning the ball. Even if it's a soft foul, you don't go to ground when you have no. And I'm saying this as a team, the team that benefited from this guy getting sent off. And in fact, it worked out because a lot of their other guys started getting cards including their coach, because everybody was so pissed about what happened. But it was a stupid second yellow for him to even get, especially 16 minutes into a match.
And it was because he just lost the ball too. Like, the ball just got taken off him, so he wanted to try and win it back immediately. But you don't slide through the back of a player to try and do that.
No,
when you're on the yellow. No.
Well, let's jump into the highlights of the game. Junior
oh my god,
a free kick goal. Like that, El Buffalo.
That's right, baby.
Yeah.
There were so many chances before then too. Like, even before the red card, there were so. Like our high. That's finally the one that gets put away.
Yeah, our high press is super noticeable. We were out there. We were taking the shots when we needed to. We were putting the pressure on. We win the foul there, and interesting pick up from the team talk today. Apparently, Kevin Noose is our set piece coach.
Okay,
so definitely had been working on some things there, and really up until the actual whistle, didn't know who was going to take that.
I did not have Junior on my bingo card, so that was not who I had.
But that was one heck of a goal by Junior. Cleared the wall and just went in. Keeper had no chance at it.
Dude, Hunter had been over there with us from Parliament, and he said something I agree with, which is it's always nice to see a free kick when it freezes the keeper. Because you just know, like, that's when those keepers are just like, nah, I didn't have a chance.
Yeah. No. And then just before half, in first half stoppage time, think it was like, what, 46th, 47th minute, somewhere there.
Mm-hmm.
There's the goal of the year.
Yeah, for sure was goal of the week. We know that.
Yeah.
We don't know for certain because it's still up for voting as of right now.
Please.
I mean, they're petty fans.
It's got to win.
It featured on Fatmov,
Men in Blazers.
Yeah.
Well,
I don't think it does Sports Center.
No.
But
let's talk about Pretty Soccer leading up to that. Because that ball went from our left side of the field over to Shaft on the right side. Shaft. Now our boys need to learn to cross within Warner Park because a lot of our crosses were very long, especially Luis. But
the wind was also not helping.
Yeah. But a couple of Luises were long going into the wind, which is scary in itself. But Shaft crosses it with the wind. That was a wind-aided cross to Pedro. I mean, it was one of those things where it just ping-ponged back and forth before it ended up with Noe. And I'm pretty sure Kyle and I were standing there, and I'm pretty sure we both were just like, did that really just happen?
It was wild.
Yeah. Oh, my God.
Where I was at fieldside, like, I saw Noe chest it, and in like the half a second it took for that ball to get in position, I just see the math going through Noe's head. That meme with like all the equations going up there, and I'm like, there's no way Noe's going to do this, and sure as hell he did, and by God was that good.
It was nice, because it was just a beautifully set up. I told Luke before we got on, very rarely is a headed pass in the box something that you want to see because it's usually soft. But the headed pass, the chesting it up, the bicycle that actually goes in, because we've seen plenty of people attempt bicycle kicks. Especially in 2020, there was plenty of attempts at bicycle kicks. But to actually see one go in and the sheer audacity to just be like, yeah, I'm going to do this. It probably didn't hurt that he knew that we were up a guy. You know what I mean? Like, you're up a man, like, gonna try something crazy, and if it doesn't go in, we're already up a goal. We're up a man. We are where we are.
And Noe really wanted that too. I think he mentioned it in like his post-game interview that like he had missed a few chances before that. There was, I know, one in particular where Brian and I were just like, how did you miss that?
Yeah.
That was so wide open. So like getting that and kind of almost powering through it with force of will to try and do that.
That was insane.
Well, that brought us into the half.
Feeling good.
Yeah. Feeling great at that point.
Feeling good. Up 2-0 at half.
Yeah.
The team down one player.
Yep.
And then that second half.
Well, let's be fair. Before it gets too crazy,
it started off well.
I was gonna say we did get up another goal, so it wasn't.
We did get what became the winning goal. At the start of the first half, or at the start of the second half,
which was equally as skilled, not quite as showy, but equally as skilled.
And yeah, I had mentioned this to you guys on the Discord, but that goal ties Noe for second in goals all time for us with Greg. So tied at 14.
So we're gonna have to start going Noe Mesa's on fire.
Maybe, but to be fair, that chant followed Greg to New Mexico even. So I'm really happy that's happened.
And he's doing really well recently too, so that's awesome.
Well, and
race over the weekend.
Yeah, well, and Greg. I mean, not to get off because we all know we love Greg Hurst.
Yeah.
But I know you mentioned this, Kyle, all in a league, and it was all in one season.
Yeah.
Not to take away from Noe, but Noe's has been split over, not 2 full seasons, but over 2 seasons. Even Evan, who's our leading goal scorer of all time, is spread over 3. So, I mean, Greg scoring 14 in the season was insane anyway. But
let's also mention this. like Evan, yes, 3 seasons, his first 3
2.
seasons. Well,
Just
yeah.
2020, 21.
Yeah, 2. Good call.
Oh, yeah.
Good call.
Sorry. Like Greg had 6 years pro experience prior.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, very true.
So
Noe and Evan both starting off, right?
And we're early in Noe's second season.
I got to do this for
So if he's able to match Evan,
yeah.
That's because what did I say at the start of the season? Has potential to have an Evan Conway second season, especially with guys around him. He's already on pace like that, right? Like this was Evan with Greg scoring goals.
I he doesn't also have the Evan Conway half the season being injured for the second season.
I agree with that. Yeah,
hopefully
we
not
don't
that.
need that at all.
Well, let's talk about that then. Didn't start with Dos Santos up top.
Not surprised.
No, I mean,
I'm
after
not
St. Louis.
But do you think having Dos Santos up top is a detriment to Noe? Like not to say Dos Santos shouldn't be up top, but do you think Noe does better with a guy like Pedro or Steinwasser up there with him than he does with Dos Santos?
So maybe I'm at fault for the second half because I did not stand with Kyle for the second half. The first half went so amazingly well. I was standing with our friend and former co-host Ben Turner for part of the second half, and one of the things he and I talked about at length, and Tyler Nelson was with me too, is it feels like I love Steven. I think that value. I don't know that Steven fully fits this system unless you're cherry picking and literally just leaving him on the last line of defense and getting the ball either crossed into him or whatever. Like he just doesn't seem to have the pace to keep up with what they need. And I think that Noe fed off of Pedro better because it does give us 2 guys that are a little pacier up top that are both moving around the box. I don't know that Steven heads that pass that Pedro heads because I don't know that Steven has caught up with the run of play to be there for that cross to be passed over. And so I think that, yes, I think there's times it's a detriment. I also think, mentioning it earlier, was super tired against St. Louis. And I just don't think that he has the stamina for what the system Dom wants to play.
Well, because he's also older, right? He's 33. Like he's
so old.
He is older than.
Fuck you both.
So just saying that though, right? Is that especially with that system, with the high press, with the possession, with all of that stuff, you want people who are a bit who have a bit more stamina, and so I see him. It depends on how Dom wants to go with it, of course, but I almost see him maybe more as like a 60-minute sub, come in, be there on set pieces, be there on crosses. Yeah. I don't know.
Can I say, and I know we'll get to what happened to us, but I think he's a 60-minute sub, not at Warner Park. Because I think
he's a 60-minute sub, not on a 2-game week.
But he is as short as that damn field is, because how quickly guys have to get back.
Yeah.
If he's like that, both goals were a result of our offense trying to be too offensive and not just killing time. And Steven took a couple shots, especially one towards the end, that I was like, bro, what are we doing right now?
Let's talk about that one.
What are we doing?
Oh, that one. He could have just dribbled it up and had a 2-on-1. He could have
passed to Steinwasser.
Steinwasser was wide open, and it just dribble
it up slightly, commit the keeper, and then pass to Steinwasser. Yeah.
Ted
FIFA
Lasso
101.
have given him an army man.
One extra
make the
pass,
pass.
baby. Gotta make the pass,
Just the
Jamie.
extra pass right there, and we would have had a 4-2 game.
It's all poopy.
Yes, it is.
Well, I mean, I guess since we're talking about that, well, we're up 3-0 and we make subs. Dos Santos is one. Gallardo's the other, bringing off Brito, who I thought had been playing really well.
Yeah, Joe had a good game.
And then Gallardo, I was not the biggest fan of this game, at least. So, I don't know.
I'm going to say it. Gallardo had an attitude problem in this game.
It's kind of my
His
thought.
body language wasn't great. I mean, he didn't look happy that he was on the bench, and it wasn't great. I couldn't tell if Luke froze or not, but he didn't.
I mean,
yeah, is he our Jamie Tart? We just got to get him on board.
Because what so I'll say that the body language thing definitely stood out to me too, and specifically there was a run that he made that he just he made a run, didn't get the pass, and that's fine. He immediately throws up his hands. He looks just pissed about it. It's like, oh man,
yeah.
Like, he's a good player. He needs more finishing to really, like, Union Omaha is now and has been very much a team that we're going to try things and they're not always going to work. And we're not going to rely on a single player to do it.
100%, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's kind of an issue you see with Gallardo and you see with Dos Santos.
I think that's what Peter was talking about when he talked with us, Luke, right? Like, when he brought Dom on and every guy he interviewed, he said, there's a certain thing about coming here that you have to agree to be our coach. And I think that's one of those things. It's Omaha and Nebraska in general appreciates teams and teams that work together, and they don't necessarily need an individual flashy player. We talked about Greg earlier. Even Greg Hurst being who he was and scoring goals and carrying that team for part of that season, Greg was 100% a team player every single game. He didn't make it about himself. He wasn't trying to showboat. Most of the goals he scored were him in the box, ball falling to him, and really good positioning. It had nothing to do with him being a prima donna.
He would also make a pass.
Right.
Like he only ended up with 2 assists, but he had a lot of those types of passes where he'd pass it off to someone else or thing to take care of it because he knew that they would be able to,
Yeah, for sure.
With Dos Santos, I feel like he's going to take a little bit more to adjust to the 2-striker system.
For sure.
And Dom seems to be content sticking with a 2-striker system. I would almost rather see when Dos Santos is out there switching to a single striker system, allow him to play his game and focus on controlling the midfield, which if anybody remembers the keys to the game from 2020,
control the midfield.
Control the midfield.
Well, Tyler Nelson and I were talking about that exact same thing, Luke, is if out there it's got to be a 1-striker system because that's the Steinwasser miss. You have a wide open partner up top and he misses it, and it's because he is not used to having a second striker up there with him. He's used to being the only guy. And the keeper was slightly out of position. I can't even say that guy was really out of position. And he's like, I'm going to try this damn thing. Yeah. So it just doesn't make sense. Do we want to talk about their first goal? Because as much as I love Junior and his free kick, my man judged the bounce of that ball. He left Shido on a freaking island misjudging the bounce of that ball.
Well, where was the bounce of that ball?
Oh,
Hey,
I
listen,
didn't even
that
think
pitch
about
sucked.
that.
That pitch sucked.
Oh no. Yeah, I didn't even put that
Pitch was
together.
bad news bears.
That was our first game at Werner Park. First time we've had a filled in. And there were some interesting bounces in that area.
Oh, I agree, for sure.
I think it's something Junior being a new player, our defense, except for Shaft, being entirely new to playing at Werner Park. They're not used to it. And
so, question. Interesting decision, and I know we were used to Jay always wanting the sun in the opponent's eyes in the first half. Dom had it the other way around. 2 goals up in the second half on the berm side, defending in the second half.
Well, so here are the factors that worked, and I don't know if we won the toss or not.
Yeah.
But we had high gusts of wind. You could see that playing any ball that got over 10 feet in the air.
For sure.
Like high gusts of wind that were directly affecting the play. The sun, which was in the berm side keeper's eyes for most of the first.
It's always in that position, though. It's always in the worst position for that side.
And I will give Shido credit. He had some
about
amazing,
June.
some good saves.
Even
with the sun
then,
in his eyes.
it still is. Then maybe it's the second half, but like it's still bad.
Yeah, I agree.
But I think the wind played a bigger factor in that game than anything we had. The fact we were fighting against the wind the entirety of the first half, and then it cut right down. There was almost no wind in the second half for them to fight against.
Well, and I will say though that first ball was not wind, or the first goal was not wind. That was 100% the pitch, and Junior misjudging the bounce. And I will give him credit. It's hard to judge a bounce off of that turf that did not look from the berm on just like green and it looked uniform. But when Tim Howerton, friend of the pod, came over with pictures because he took some pictures for his article he did, an interview he did. Let me the pictures. I was like, ooh, that's ugly and that's bad, and that you could tell it was filled in, and that led to more of it. But it was just in the moment,
you don't sell out.
Bounce.
Right. Yeah. Like you don't sell out on that one bounce, especially if you know that the pitch is going to be a bit weird. Was really my thing, where it's like he could have ran with that for the bounce and then cleared it. But
yeah,
for sure.
Well, as I said at the beginning, we got 3 points. It didn't feel like 3 points.
Yeah.
Let's move on to this.
Feel like you're up a man.
That corner then that they let in just kind of happened as well, but thankfully we held on. Yeah.
Before we move into Friday, you did mention Tim. He's got a website up that's going to be covering soccer culture and throughout. We'll be linking that on our Twitter at some point, probably on our Instagram as well. So make sure you check out his work. He's doing some good stuff. He did a background piece on Pedro's journey through his career and his soccer career. So definitely worth checking out there. He's going to have a lot of great content covering world soccer on that.
But I'd say between him and I'm going to say one more thing between him and Brian, with Brian doing supporter culture. There's some really cool stuff coming out of Omaha in general, and Tim's not officially affiliated, but just Omaha in general with what's going on to find some of that stuff. So it's pretty awesome.
Definitely. And Brian has an article out right now covering the supporters experience at the first Werner Park home game. So go check that out on WGHmedia.com. All right. Cinco de Mayo. Union Omaha versus Richmond. Tied on
the traditional Richmond, Virginia holiday, Cinco de Mayo.
Yep. When I think Cinco de Mayo, I think capital of the Confederacy.
Oh, damn. Ouch.
Oof.
So,
Oh, you broke Ryan.
You broke me.
the
Damn.
man who works for organized
Take that,
religion
Jefferson
is broken
Davis.
by that. All right.
Davis is rolling over in his grave right now.
I hope there's more than rolling. I hope there's some burning too.
I
But
agree. Yeah, for sure.
tied on points.
Yeah.
Team we've traditionally had a tough time with. Last time we played at Richmond, Bone was revealed. Westman on the sideline. Let's hope it's not as dangerous this time.
One guy.
Yeah.
That one guy. You know, the guy. Alex Bruce.
It was Touche.
Mm-hmm.
No, I'm saying they still have the one guy on their team that does a lot of the thing for them. That does the thing.
Do you mean Ethan Vandercourt Decker?
No, but I love that guy. I like that EVD for MVP.
No, though there is a former Owl that is still on their team and still scoring goals for them like he did last week.
Well, Ethan Vandercourt Decker's still on their team.
Oh, if he is, he was not in their last match day lineup at all.
Oh, was he injured again?
Who knows?
EVD.
They still have.
I will say, Nathan Awney has very much surprised me. Just how much he's grown since he left us, because he did not look good when he played for us.
No, he did not.
So credit to him though.
Yeah,
he's really improved.
He found a system and a coach that's willing to commit to him. Sawatsky's been good for him. It will be interesting to see how this year's team, lines up against Terzaghi, because he still remains as dangerous as he's always been.
I wasn't saying his name. That's the guy. That guy.
That guy?
F that guy.
I was pretty sure that's who you meant. Yeah, no.
Yeah. I have tons of respect for him, but F that guy.
It's going to be interesting to see just that, because he thrives on kind of, picking his spots, picking his chances, turnovers, which I'm a little bit more prone to this year. So,
but what I'm interested in seeing is Richmond with more of a counterattack, Route One type J Mims ball, right? Like, and that tended to not play well against Richmond because they tend to be, even, no matter their coach, they tend to be tough defensively. They control the midfield. 20. But they it would be interesting to see a more possession-based team, a team that likes to pass the ball and keep the ball, for us to play against them. I just wish they were at Warner Park to start versus playing them on the road, because playing Richmond on the road is always tough.
Well, here's my thought with Richmond. Awney was tall. He was one of our bigger guys in 2020. Moved over to Richmond, broke into their starting lineup. I want to say more last year than he did in 21.
I agree.
But he's a big guy. He's a physical guy. I think having Dos Santos, Dolabella, even Steinwasser up there, and not to say Noe's not physical, but those guys are much more physical than Noe.
Oh, for
having
sure.
them up there to kind of absorb some of that physicality, still be able to service the ball. Yeah. I'm optimistic.
I want the Steinwasser Noe starting duo up top again, baby.
Yeah.
Because people underestimate Steinwasser. I love that kid. Kid's got balls.
Bella,
like that.
Bella Noe one was good.
Yeah, I agree.
I wouldn't be surprised if we see that again, honestly.
Yeah.
Though I hope we do see Brito in midfield, but we'll see.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Joe Brito has been a highlight of this season. Like, anytime he's been on the field, you just feel that we're better.
I also like Dion coming in as a sub. And a lot of it is part of it is you have an experienced guy coming in, so he automatically comes in, even though he's fresh. He also comes in and just settles the game a little bit more when you need him to. But he also then can conserve his energy and just ball out for 30 minutes versus trying to conserve himself for 60 or 75.
If he comes in with 30 minutes and Shaft is still on the pitch, the amount of speed and physicality we have is just obscene. If he comes on for 60 minutes, we're hurt.
Shaft Brewer is going to. It might even be a hot take here. Shaft Brewer is going to be a guy that we don't see off the pitch a whole lot moving forward.
Well, not since apparently he can play left back too.
Yeah, that was something we did not know.
Yep, had no idea.
and played fairly well considering.
Even against St. Louis, because he played left back against St. Louis too.
Yeah.
So
I knew I was going to be impressed with Shaft this year. I did not think I would be this impressed with Shaft this year.
CD handle is very apt.
JP and Connor, we aren't talking about them, but the reason we're not talking about them is the same reason we never talked about Dalton.
They're always there, baby.
They're good.
For Connor, literally, he's always there. Literally.
Oh, like he's just behind JP and Rashid in games played.
Yeah. JP's at 80, Shido's at I think 77, and then Connor's at 73.
Yeah,
total. Yeah,
and we've only been around. This is our 4th season, so yeah,
it's amazing.
I think we see a little bit of rotation Friday, not a huge amount of rotation, as that we did on the first half against NoCo. I could see maybe Gilles being pulled off in favor
of this.
I'm going to say in favor of like Gallardo. Like I'm not saying I like that.
Yeah.
But just I could see it happening.
And I think that's the thing is like we say no Luis. Say no Luis, right? Like kind of had a rough run. I think about the roster and who goes in for Luis. Like that's the other side of this whole thing is
Brito. Like, if you play both Brito and Gallardo, that's what I could see happening.
Play both
of them. But I mean, and this is something I don't think we mentioned, that Luis was on the bench for Team of the Week this week.
Yeah.
Like he has really solid performances. It's just that, because he is getting a little bit older, especially with the system, he gives you like a good 45 to 60. Mm-hmm. So it's just that he's getting a bit tired. But like when he's fresh and when he's doing that, he's great.
Yeah.
That chip ball is going to happen though, Kyle. It's happening. He's going to chip that bad boy up and it's going in.
You know what it did give us? It gave us that free kick that Junior scored.
Sure did.
He did like 3 of them beforehand that went nowhere, and then it gave us that, I guess. So
Kyle and I were laughing. They're like,
every time.
Again, Luis? Really? Again? It was just like, and it was always the Noe of all the players. It was freaking Noe. I'm like,
who's able to control the ball in the air?
Yeah.
I know. It was just like, Luis saw
Just funny.
something. I don't know what he saw, but he saw something.
Mhm.
All right. I've already talked a little bit about it. What do you guys think? Will there be any lineup changes from the starting against NoCo? Do you think we're going to see some drastic stuff?
I don't think that Dom is settled at left back. So
Well,
that's a place where I can see him tinkering again.
well, the worry there is that Mueller, at least as of St. Louis game, was hurt.
Yeah.
Or at least out for a little bit. So I don't know when he's coming back. But that is a good thought. Like between Milanese and Mueller and even Shaft, if you want to throw Dion at right back, right?
Yep. That didn't look solid at left back with on Saturday. It looked like Arco was a little bit out of his depth there. I don't know. You don't take Junior off. Junior's crushing it.
Junior worries.
Swahi's
He worries me in the right ways.
Junior worries me in the he's gonna get a red for punching some dude in the face.
As I said, the right ways.
But when it happens, it's gonna be Terzaghi, and I'm not gonna hate it.
He's already we played 5 games. Junior's gotten 3 yellow cards.
That's my boy right there. I love it. So what you're telling me is after Richmond, is it 5 yellows? Or is it 4?
I don't remember the rules.
I think it's 5 yellows for a suspension.
Oh yeah, perfect. So he has 2 more games before I have to worry about a suspension. Got it. I think Swahi's done much better at center back. He's looked more comfortable each game he's there. For the lack of having another true center back, it's been a good decision there.
Is Mastro Antonio a true center back?
I believe so. I'm going to say I think we have 4 spots on the field that we're guaranteed to see. We're going to see Connor in the midfield. We're going to see Noe at forward, and we're going to see Junior and Lexi at center back.
Make that 5 Cheetos in goal.
Yeah.
I think we see Ian at some point this season. Ian's a good keeper, and the fact we have him on the bench, I
think we'll see him, but I don't think we're going to see him this weekend. I think we have that stretch coming up at the end of the month. That's a bit hectic.
Yeah,
we might see
the Wednesday, Friday situation.
We missed is Shido is up for save of the week as well.
Oh,
which one? I did miss
which
that.
one?
Which one?
I think it was the free kick that he crazy palmed it over.
That was a good save.
Yeah.
So there was the one on the other end that was bouncing off the bar and everything too, and somehow didn't go in. Yeah,
it's weird. It's like we have the best goalkeeper in the league on our team. I know it's weird now.
2 years running.
Yeah, I mean, Lexington, those types of matches where you can sit Shido and give him a little bit of a breather, or we have multiple games in a week type thing. I think those are the ones we're going to see a rotation there. But if Shido feels like he can go, I think it's going to be really hard to keep him off the pitch. Connor's going to be there. I think JP is almost an automatic as long as JP's feeling good.
JP is definitely one I think is going to be a starter. However, if there needs to be rotation in the midfield, he's coming out before Connor does.
Yeah. So, question, and I have an answer in my head. Who's the player that you think shocked we haven't seen more of off the bench or starting on this team so far?
I've got two.
Go for it. Yeah.
Burrito.
Okay.
Because he hasn't been in as much as I thought he would this year.
That's fair.
And then Master Antonio.
Okay. Neither one of those are my answers, so that's good.
Okay.
I'm gonna say Giovanni.
That's my answer right there.
And Master Antonio.
Yeah. Shivani's my answer. Like on the berm like they normally do. And you can kind of see it on his face even. Like he was happy there was the win, but you can tell he's just like he has that look on his face like I want to be out there, I want to be doing my thing. And for so many times last year, that was kind of the JP sub, right? Like those are the two that kind of rotated. And
that was the sub this past game too.
Did he get in? I don't think he got in this game.
I
He was
thought
still in his warm-ups when he came.
No, he got in against St. Louis, and then he got in like one other game. It has not been many. You're right in that.
And he's a good central defensive midfielder.
Right.
Like
the guy that honestly in Dom's system well with the ball control because he can take it up the field. He's a good dribbler.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
He'll take shots.
He'll hit one from a long way.
Best passing. Yeah. And maybe it's his passing that's letting him down in practice. That's like it's letting him see the pitch. But it's just that's the guy that I've just been like, where has he been? That was a boy they brought in, right? Like that's the thing. That's like that was a hand-picked dude. Like there's just something about coaches and their hand-picked guys.
Let somebody down. Like
yeah. No, I mean seeing Chavanagor would be great. Like that'd be really good.
All right. Score predictions.
Pain. No, I'm kidding. I'll say 1-1. I'm going draw. 1-1 draw.
That's what I was saying too. I was going to say 1-1 draw. Yeah.
3-0 Union Omaha.
Until it happens, he's calling it.
Hey.
Hey, it was almost going to happen on this last weekend.
I was almost right without doing a pod beforehand.
Here's the thing, and I don't know who's out there listening to us all the time, like loyal people, but gotta get used to having some of those games though, even up a man, because the style of soccer we play, and as attacking minded as Dom is, we're especially on our home pitch that's the smallest in the league. We're gonna get caught out. We're not gonna keep a ton of clean sheets. Don't be shocked to see a lot of 3-2s, 4-2s, those types of games, because that's just what happens when you play this style.
Easy counterattack on a smaller pitch.
Oh yeah.
No, to extrapolate a little bit more. I really do think the way Richmond has played, the way Sawatsky plays, we can actually pull out a shutout.
I would love it.
Depending on our starting lineup, it will be interesting to see how many goals we score. Because I think our defenders now are better suited to shut out Terzaghi than our defenders were last year.
That's fair.
Ooh, yeah, I don't know, just because of the system. Maybe the defenders, but the system I think is not the same.
I think our physicality in forwards this year versus last is going to be easier for us to break them down. Getting past Akira, that's another story.
If he plays, he did play the last game, but he's only played about half their games this year so far. So we'll see.
Yeah, and I agree with you, Luke. I think that Dalton was kind of one of those guarantee starters. Dalton wasn't a physical center back. You know, he was a very smart center back and
back. I think he got more cards for cussing out a ref than he did for anything else.
Yeah, but Dalton was just very good at positioning, and that's what makes him a very good center back. And I think the difference is we have guys that are going to be physical, and Terzaghi wants to sit. He wants to get the ball at his feet. He wants to move the ball around and turn and go. And I think when you have two guys that are a lot more physical with you, grab, push, buffalo you over, he's more time against guys like that than he did against us in the past seasons.
I believe when it's a buffalo, you call it goring.
Ooh, I like it. Let's do it.
I was trying to think what the soccer equivalent of a pancake would be. Yeah.
It's a crepe.
I feel like Junior would not be happy with that comparison. You like call it a pancake.
All right.
That's what a pancake was.
Parliament is doing a watch party at the Granary. It'll be Cinco de Mayo. I believe there's going to be some taco trucks there. Worth getting out to. Benson BHC is doing theirs at St. Andrews. Those are the two watch parties I know about. Both are going to be a great time. Get out, watch with them. And
for the blog, Brian have been doing some watch-alongs on with their pod. So if you want to watch along from home, what's that?
The One the Rocks YouTube channel.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah. So if you want to join them, you can always join them if you can't make it out to a watch party too.
Yeah. All right, boys. One last question for you. Who gives a hoot? We do.
We do.